Well, under the earth would be the reference there in First Peter. There are fallen angels who are incarcerated in Tartarus right now, and that is that amazing text in First Peter 3, where after he rose from the dead, Jesus went off and announced his triumph to the spirits who had disobeyed when the ark was being built in the days of Noah. Please note it was Jesus who did the preaching there. A complete cop-out has been advanced by Augustine, who said, well, that doesn't mean that Jesus preached to the spirits in prison. What it means is that Noah preached to the spirits. That's just false. So 1 Peter 3 knows of people under the earth, and there's a text there which talks about he descended to the lower parts of the earth, and then he rose. So Jesus went down, and there are personalities there incarcerated, to whom apparently he announced his proclamation. There it is. I don't think he got them saved. He announced that he is now top of all authority. This is a huge truth for us all. Jesus is somebody beyond which there is no authority higher apart from God himself. When you use the word spirits by itself as a class of individual, never, ever, ever means human beings. You can talk about the spirits of just men made perfect. As spirits unqualified by itself refers to demons or to angels. I think it's probably a lower part of Sheol. It's a division of Sheol, but not quite the same, because it's a place of restraint for fallen angels, spirits who disobeyed in the time of Genesis. And that's the awful story of Genesis 6, where angels cohabited with women, replicated again in a slightly different sense in what the people at Sodom and Gomorrah did. Namely, they wanted to have sex with the angels that were staying with Lot. It was a form of the same sort of transgender or bending of the rules of reproduction. So Sodom and Gomorrah is the symbol of evil, and Genesis 6 is that terrible story of angels completely falsely trying then to produce a new hybrid of man and angel. That is a terrible affront and abuse of the Creator's intention. And that's why it's such an important subject.
Yes, and also there's an interesting verse in relation to what is under there, and it's found in Job 26, verse 5. The spirits of the dead, or the Sheath Raphaim, departed ancestors or spirits, tremble, and they're beneath, Job says, or under the waters.
Yeah, I think these are not human beings, because human beings, when they're dead, are dead. The dead, as it says in Ecclesiastes 9, 5, and 10, the dead know nothing at all. There's no activity in Sheol, where all of you human beings are going, inevitably, unless you live until the day of the second coming. But these are then probably a reference to the demonic spirits that survived. They're not dead, and they were announced to. In fact, Jesus went off. It's very important not to lose track of the very simple narrative there. Jesus suffered for sins once and for all, that he might bring you to God. After being put to death, he became alive in the spiritual realm as a spirit immortal person. That was his condition. In that state, that translation is exactly right. In that risen state, he, who's the here? Not Noah. It's Jesus. Went off, traveled off, whatever means to change location. He went off and made a proclamation, I think a neutral one, just announcing his success, not saving them, but he made it to those fallen spirits who were then in Tartarus, who in the past, the time of the ark being built, had sinned. That's Genesis 6. At that time, 8 people, not spirits this time, but 8 souls, meaning human beings, were saved through water. This was a stupendous event for the Bible writers. It's been inevitably a source of huge discussion, argumentation, mostly because people didn't understand that when you're dead, you're dead. Once you get that clear, Jesus cannot be preaching to dead human beings. Dead human beings cannot respond to any preaching, but he did preach, in fact, to fallen spirits, those ones who were very evil in the days of Genesis 6.